What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Midnight Happy Hour. It's your boy Monk, it's your boy Lou, and we have got a third joining us for UFC St. Louis. Going to be breaking down all the betting lines, the best of the betting lines and DraftKings plays for this card. We've got Aaron the Dog. Let's introduce him. Glad to see you here. Thank you so much for joining us. Tell the people where they could find you, and are you excited for this card?
Yeah, UFC St. Louis, as I'm calling it as of now. Aaron the Dog MMA on YouTube if you're interested. I cover regional MMA. Used to cover regional MMA. Right now, just sticking to UFC. Sometimes Lou decides to show up for the show. He decides not to sleep through it. Last night was not lucky enough to be one of those shows, but anyways, it's all good. Lou joins me as well as Just My 2 Cents, and Lucky Locks has made his return back to the breakdown scene. So if you're at all familiar with regional MMA breakdowns, you know who Lucky Locks is from years and years back. But yeah, every single Wednesday night, 10 p.m. Eastern, the four of us usually are breaking it down, or some rotation of four guys breaking down the UFC. So appreciate the invite on here, and looking forward to talking about this card. I think this is a really good card. It's a loud card on Twitter. There's like 6 or 7 MMA Twitter fights of the week. Everybody's so sure on every side. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, those are always the best. Lou, looking forward to this one.
Yeah, before I start with that, I just, like I told you before the show, Pepe, this must have been in reference to you. Like, I fire my computer back up, I have a browser open with the Paul Rudd thing from Anchorman where it said she was Brazilian or Chinese or something. And I feel like this had to do with something you and I were like, I don't need to know the exact context. This had to be something I sent to you. I 99.9% feel that's a conversation that Pepe and I have like daily, like every day. That's a conversation we have. So probably had something to do with him. I like this card a lot. Betting wise, fan wise, this is like a really cool card. Like, looking, we said, fuck. And then we got this fucking guy.
Whoa!
We got this fucking guy. Yo, Pat, what's up? Got a lot of my favorites here in the chat. Thank you guys for joining us. Unfortunately, I just want to start with something on a serious note, and then I'll give you the same raving psychopath you're used to each and every single week. You guys don't know, we lost somebody in the community on Sunday. Bleed MMA. There is a GoFundMe set up for his wife and his daughter, and I feel like if you have spare money, that's a really good cause. If you guys are watching this right now, it means you're probably loyal to the show, which we love. And it also means you're a very special kind of human being to be a fan of this show. And if you have ever watched Bleed, you know, he's a guy that had no problem just talking the way he wanted, saying things the way he wanted. I know Pat's in the chat. He did very few shows off his own channel. Pat worked with him. I thought it was tremendous that he did a show with Pat. The dude's been around forever, was like a huge fan, did it his own way. And I think Monk may have deleted the first shows that him and I ever did. I hope to God he did. But if he didn't, and you ever can dig those up, it is a very different version of Lou, a very subdued, a very non-ring light, a very like, what am I doing? Do I know how to break down fights on air? And watch, and Bleed was one of the dudes who was like, dude, just do it your way. Like, don't worry about what people think. Do it your goddamn way. So if you guys don't like watching me, it's his fault. Just letting you know. Like, he kind of encouraged me to just open up the playbook. He's like, dude, just be you. Like, if you're, and I'm like, all right, people aren't going to like that. So a good dude for the community, an OG. I know Brady really liked working with him. Very few people got to work with him, but like, I know Brady liked him a lot too. So just wanted to give that as a send out. Like, my heart goes out for his wife and daughter. And if you do have spare money, I think his GoFundMe is a very, very good cause. So that's all I wanted to say about that. That's, now we can get back to the usual scheduled program of nonsense that we bring to you each and every week.
Very, very well said. Of course, be sure to check that out in your spare time. Absolutely. Let's begin. We got 13 fights, guys. UFC St. Louis, and you can spell that however you want on this card due to the main event. But we're gonna start at the bottom of the card.
Hold on.
Oh, Steve, too soon, Brohame.
Dude, I told you guys. I fucking told you. After I hit every single horse race last year, there was zero chance. I said there's zero chance I'm winning at all. But I did hit the Kentucky Oaks, you motherfucker. Torpedo Anna, 5-1.
Go.
So the good news is I hit the race. The bad news is it was the one 24 hours before the main race.
We got the Preakness is coming up too, right?
Yeah, you're gonna have to unfortunately go chalk and bet Moose at like 6-5.
There you go.
I'll make a video. It'll take me 1 minute because there's like 7 fucking horses. I'd be like this guy and nobody else.
There we go. Here we've got first fight of the night: Veronica Hardy, JJ Aldrich, -144 for Hardy, -124 for Aldrich. Plus 300 fight doesn't go. -400 does go. -500 on the over 2.5. I'll start this one off because it's easy. I hate this fight for DraftKings. I think it's terrible. Decision win. I don't really care. I side with Hardy a little bit. Why don't we start with Aaron? What do you think about the first fight of the night here?
Yeah. Also don't really care a whole lot about this one. I just think the wrong fighter is favored slightly, but it's probably a fight that's going to be pretty close, and one fighter winning 2 rounds, one fighter winning 1. I don't see a finish either side. I side slightly with JJ Aldrich just because I don't really buy the competition Veronica Hardy's come back and beat so far. So if it's wrong, so what be it, but I'm staying away from it for the most part.
Yeah, that seems to be the consensus. Lou, what do you got here? You're upside down, Lou. It's all right.
What the hell happened? I stayed in the same spot somehow.
I figure we got to guess. We can't cover the guest face with the comments. You can cover my beard instead.
Oh, stop it.
With comments. Jesus.
I think I may care about more about the conversation going on in chat with Dogfather and Pepe.
Little mug shotties action.
I mean, if we're gonna talk about mug shorties, like this is the place to be. Here's my question for this fight. If you think that Hardy is this rejuvenated fighter, and if you think that Hardy is the one the UFC wants to push, why is she only -130, 140 range? Shouldn't she be like, shouldn't the steam have gone even more and pushed her to like close to 2-1? Because I don't know that there's let's say there's no grappling in this fight, which I think is it unreasonable to think this is gonna be 15 minutes on the feet and it's gonna go the distance? Is that
Not
unreasonable?
No.
So if it's not unreasonable to think that, is Hardy dominant in the boxing exchanges? I don't think so. It's probably pretty small margins here. And let's be honest, how many fights have I broken down in 2 years? How many fights have we all broken down these last few years? If you're going to get a small margins, 15-minute striking women's MMA fight, isn't it kind of like an autoplay to take the dog? Like, wouldn't you want the plus money going to what's maybe a split decision here? I would. So from a betting perspective, I'll lean Aldrich. From a Lou perspective, I'm going to pretend this event starts at 4:30 Eastern and just not bet this. I'm going to have way more bets on this than this is one fight. I just think that it's like super, super, super small margins. I saw somebody betting, someone was going to bet, they thought Aldrich finish or no scorecards equals action. And I'm like, why do you want to have any kind of bet like that ever on this fight? Like, well, you're begging for a push or an injury, right?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, and I am not going to claim that I know who this is, but also I know who this is. And I think that's a very funny statement. And Steve Gregory is just, we may be in prelim warming up mode on the channel. Steve Gregory is already in like main
He's firing
Always.
He's already on main card.
That's
like,
always
fucking
Steve,
nonsense mode right now. He's so fucking funny, dude.
There we go. Look at that face on Kevin Jette. My God. He's taking on Jared Night Train Gooden minus 232, plus 197 for Gooden. Minus 130 fight doesn't go over 2.5, and the under 2.5 is just a pick 'em. Let's see here, Lou. Start us off. What do you like about this?
I mean, I know for a fact Dogfather does not have a max bet on scorecards, no action here. And
I don't know who I honestly don't know who that is. So
I mean, I would tell you, are your kids around?
No.
Then you can Google it.
Jesus.
I'm struggling with this one because I feel like I look at this price and it's super wide, and that Gooden, with all his UFC experience, probably shouldn't be almost 2-1 here. That's what I feel like on the surface. I also think they're capping Jette on 2 performances in the UFC that he's looked great, but that his regional tape isn't as like, he's not some dominant guy on the regionals. Like, he's well-rounded. He's okay. He's not bad. Seems to have good durability. But like, you look at Gooden, it's like the dudes he's fought, man. Like IMA, oh God. This is probably, dude, the show's off the rails like 5 minutes into the night. Like, the fucking thing's off the rails. Like, it's like crazy off the rails. Gooden, like I'm a big Carlston Harris guy, man. And you know, he dominated Gooden, but like Gooden showed some like super toughness in that fight against a guy who I think is like a vicious finisher. He didn't like put his foot on the gas. Harris didn't, like, in that fight, but still like dominated, got him on the ground, like dominated him. I worry that like, could you say like just pin him on the ground and like kind of Gooden's not getting up for 15 minutes? Yeah, that's possible. I don't really know what to do with this fight yet. Like, I just feel like Jette is one of these guys that I feel like I should never back him at minus 230 is where I'm going. I don't know if I'm comfortable backing Gooden. I think Aaron is going to take the tag here and maybe give a better answer than me. But if I had to give you a bet right now, it'd be Gooden at this price. I just think, and more because I just don't think Jette should be minus 230. But I have no action on this at the moment.
There you go. And Aaron, what do you got? Is Lou correct in your stance on this one?
I mean, I don't know. This isn't one I'm necessarily like. At first, was originally, before really looking into it, on the Gooden side a little bit. With Jette, he like does have tall man defense for sure, so that chin is up there. Eventually, it's going to be hit, and Gooden's going to be there for 15 minutes, most likely. I don't think Jette puts him out of there. So, and I think Gooden does carry the power throughout the fight. He just gets tagged a lot, even against like Wellington Turman. He was getting tagged until he wasn't. And it's just like, Jette is older than Gooden. Like, he's later in his career coming over to UFC. Like, even, you know, his one fight against Jack Deli, he got stopped by a cut. So, like, he's tough, but like, I wouldn't surprise me if Gooden knocked him out. And yeah, minus 230, I think is way too high. I do think that the Jette fade is coming, and I get it for anybody on the Gooden side. I think this one's going 15 minutes. So I think there's a lot of overs here in this one. To me, I don't see Jette getting the finish. I think the only finish would be on the Gooden side if it happened. So Jette maybe uses that alleged judo that they're talking about, and that would be a way to hold him down, but I don't think that's what happens. I think this is another one that's mostly on the feet, and Gooden probably lands the bigger shots while Jette gets the volume. So, possible split.
I'm kind of hoping for that the way I'm playing DraftKings, because these guys are on opposite ends of the salary spectrum. Kevin Jette, third most expensive guy on the card this week. What's that?
Gooden's great value.
Exactly. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm going here. I mean, yes, he's only beat Turman and Stoltz in his last 5, but I mean, he's losing to like Nurmagomedov's not terrible. Randy Brown is good. Carlston Harris, middling.
I like Carlston.
I do too. And actually, yeah, he's the one that turned it around against was it Wells?
Yep.
And that was a great third round turnaround. But you said, I know he put up 110 against Crosby. Somebody said it, maybe it was on the Bankroll or Bust show. Be sure to check that out, MonkMMATics channel, live now. They said that it was kind of like not an amateur fight, but more of like a DWCS fight or something like that. Kind of agree. I just don't know how he's going to score. I think Gooden has a much better upside, like you said. But as Lou said, if Jette lays on him for 15 minutes, that could also rack up some points. But he's only landed one takedown in each of his last two fights. The first one almost went, barely 5 minutes, but Song Kanan went 15. So I'm kind of hoping Aaron is right here, and because I'm just not feeling the Jette. I don't want to pay $9,200 for Kevin Jette. That's kind of what it boils down to. So I'm hoping that he is not optimal.
The other thing, it's the bigger octagon here in St. Louis because it's in the arena, and Jette way longer, way taller. So I do think if this was at the Apex, I think Gooden has a lot more of an advantage with that smaller octagon as well. Like, I hate the smaller, bigger octagon argument a lot of times, but I mean, with Jette, he's going to be hidden. He's going to be sneaking out the left, the hook, the jab, like a lot in this fight, ideally. And Gooden has to figure out a way to get past that. So I think Gooden pushing for the finish is much more likely too. So, but yeah, 232 is insane.
Yeah, completely agree. Next,
just so you know, Monk, the sombrero will be stepping in for the St. Louis picks on this card.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, gotcha.
So typically, like I did the show with Aaron, and we had, which was, by the way, and this was awesome. We had Padilla. He had Padilla breaking down the fight. And if you're gonna get a UFC fighter from Mexico on the show, how do I not put the fucking sombrero on for Padilla? And he was so cool with it, because really, it could have gone not the right way.
I mean, yeah.
So we're going to use the sombrero, which is undefeated, I believe. We're going to use it for the St. Louis thing. What's up, Luke? Dude, we got all the crazy people out tonight. Right. This is great.
Here we go. Speaking of crazy, Jake Hadley and his nickname, White Kong, taking on Charles Johnson. Minus 135 for Hadley, plus 115 for Johnson, plus 190 fight doesn't go. The over 2.5 is minus 260, plus 200 on the under. Aaron, why don't you start us off here between Hadley and Johnson? Who do you like?
This is another really, really good fight. I like both guys, followed both guys on the regional scene. Hadley with Cage Warriors, and Mr. Johnson with the LFA, one of the longest standing LFA champions as well, because he just couldn't get signed from St. Louis as well. So I think this is going to be a really interesting fight. It really comes down to how much you believe and have faith in the British wrestling of Hadley in this fight, or how much you don't have faith in Charles Johnson's takedown defense. I mean, one thing about Charles Johnson, he might get knocked down, but he gets up again, and you're never going to keep him down. So I really do think that Hadley might get 6-7 takedowns and could very well still lose this fight. And that's just, I think, kind of where it gets interesting. I think on the feet, Charles has a chance to put up a lot more volume. I think cardio wise, he has possible advantages too. I don't like that he's later into his 30s making into UFC, but I mean, he put in a lot of work before coming into UFC, Thailand and other, and he's in St. Louis. So definitely has given me pause from getting too involved with this one, because I am worried about kind of the St. Louis Jews here with Charles Johnson. I think it's going to be a close fight. Hadley mixes in the takedowns, and I think still ends up being short on a decision. So I'm taking the dog again in Charles Johnson. Haven't gotten to the window yet, but getting closer.
Nice. Chumbawamba Johnson. I'm on that side too, actually. One of the dogs that I picked. And that's the side I'm on for DraftKings as well. Hadley, traditionally, I mean, he did put up 104 against Gordon, 109 against Candelario, but I think, honestly, Charles Johnson, I mean, he's losing to Ode Osborne, Cody Durden, kind of guys that are his level or a little bit above, it seems like. I guess you could say the same for Hadley, but his wins, I think, are guys that are kind of lower on the rungs than he is. I guess I'm biased, man. I'm just not a fan of Hadley, to be honest. And to answer Patrick's question, it's clearly Nursultan Black Nursultan Ruzaboyev. It's everything's better than White Kong in my opinion. Even Energy, which is also terrible. So this is one I'm not going to go crazy with for DraftKings. Hoping it goes to decision, like you said, that would be fantastic. Hadley does have some takedown upside, but Johnson has proven to be an okay scorer in his own right as well, especially against Jimmy Flick he was anyway. So give me the 7,600 on Johnson, and we'll play it like that. Lou, are you going with the St. Louis guy?
Yeah, I'm just looking at some of these things in our chat right now, and like, I'm just gonna say I think we're properly honoring bleed tonight because we're talking about Jews, we're talking about blacks, we're just like all over the fucking place in chat right now.
Talking about White Kong.
I almost think we're properly like this. This would be a show he would have been proud of. If only Devin Clark was on this card, this would have been this would have been like the perfect card. So I'm not going to get to the window exactly on what Dogfather is talking about here with the round 3 sub, but I did play Charles Johnson round 3 here. I know he's not like a massive finisher. Like, I get it. He's not a big finisher on this level. But like, he seems to win round 3s at a super high clip. He's going to be at home. I think that he's one of these dudes, if he's going to get a finish, it's like more attritional. Like, he's not a one-shot KO guy. I don't know that I trust Hadley to go for takedowns here. Although I will say this whole narrative that, like, you know, people always had 4 fights in the UFC and he hasn't gone for a takedown. It's like, sure, like, that's fair. The Malcolm Gordon fight lasted a minute. Like, I don't care about that when I'm like, well, he didn't go for a takedown. Alan Nascimento, he's probably not going to want to go for takedowns in that fight. Cody Durden, not only did he not want to go for takedowns, but on the ground, he had Durden in like a super bad spot in round 2. So that leaves 1 fight left. And that's the Carlos Candelario fight. And he subbed him, and that's because Candelario initiated a lot of the grappling. So look, this whole Hadley's not going for takedowns. He's still grappling. Like, so I still think that's possible here. I just don't know that Hadley is a guy that really commits to grappling for 3 rounds. And I don't think that he has any interest in it. It's not even a cardio thing. I just don't think he has any interest in doing it. He wants to stand up and strike. That's just how he wants to fight. And that's literally all Charles Johnson wants to do. Now, I'm betting Charles Johnson because rigged decision. Like, I mean, just put it out there. Like, it's going to be like a rigged decision. And his optics, at least in 3rd rounds of fights, like, he's tons of volume. His cardio is historically really good. It really is going to come down to, like, just feels like a fight who wins round 2. I feel like Hadley wins round 1 at like a decent clip. I feel like Johnson wins round 3 at a pretty historically high clip. I don't know why I'm still wearing the fucking sombrero at this point, but yeah, give me Charles Johnson again. And much like I hate comparing this to the Aldrich fight, but again, you think it's a fight and you think it's going to go the distance at a high clip and you think it's super close margins. Just you want the dog in this spot. So give me Charles Johnson. I like hate myself for doing this. And last thing I'll say is we got to dig up where Charles Johnson was just going off on Wheezy. Because Wheezy bet against him, and he said, "Yeah, I'm betting against him because of that fucking thing on his head." And then I guess Charles Johnson went into like full receipt mode.
Yeah,
in his last fight.
Good.
And you know, like my guy Cody Brundage does. Thank God I'm obviously his best friend that he's ever had, where he would not dare ever go off on me in public. He's too busy going off on Clint.
Does Aldrich have a British accent she could throw? Because this is a show right here. This is some kind of show, and I want to watch it. I need to know if she can do a British accent. Next fight.
Hold on? Did you see? No. Keep it on that screen. You guys didn't? I put a question in chat. Who would be the best guy to roast in the community? Like Ron Brady. Did you see the Ron Brady roast on the Flicks of Net?
I've seen clips of it.
Aaron,
I saw clips. I'm not watching 3 hours of a roast. No.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of it was pretty fun. The Tony Hinchcliffe stuff was like,
yeah, that's the part that I saw.
Like, just his segment alone was worth it. But I feel like almost we're getting to that point. We need like a capper roast, and I do not volunteer to be the guy.
These
Like,
two
I don't
people
want to
couldn't
be that
handle it,
guy.
bro. They couldn't handle it.
Well,
Yeah.
I know, but it would end up like Shatner, where like I let you guys do it, and at the end I'm like, I made all of like I don't know if you ever saw the Shatner roast, but at the end he's like, you're all nothings without me.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm still William Shatner. I'm 80. I'm making money. He's like, look at you. He's like, look at you, Kirk. He's like, you're 5 pounds of crap in a 2-pound sack. Like, it was just tremendous. Like he won the whole thing in like 2 minutes. So like, y'all don't want that. But like maybe Clint would be a good guy because I feel like he'd sit there and take it. And like, you know, he's bald.
I
and
disagree. This would not go well. While I would watch it, it would not go well.
Well,
Yeah,
hold on. Would it go well for Clint or would it go well for me?
Oh, for
And like other people, like I'd be, you know, Lou Ross.
I'm just gonna plead the fifth on all of this.
Well, I know. Yeah, I know.
It would be like just watching a bomb
But
explode.
how about the Colorado Avalanche about to come back from 4-0 here?
Oh shit,
4-3, and they're on the power play with 3 minutes to go. So yeah, gotta put a little wager down on them when they're down 3-0. So come
There
on,
we go.
Monk, I will allow you to proceed with the show now.
Yeah.
Well, good because we have apparently the fucking first.
I'd rather
Twitter,
talk about other shit than this.
Twitter, Twitter war of the week. Apparently, I have no idea why.
Oh no.
Yeah, dude. Everybody and their mom is on Billy Goff at plus 143, going against Trey Waters minus 163. Fight doesn't go minus 220. Over 2.5 is plus 135. Yeah, I guess I don't know. I'm gonna play Waters in cash, but I'll play Goff too. But Goff gets hit and he hits people, so we're kind of looking at a good GPP fight here. I have my pick's gonna be Waters, but I'm not confident. Yeah, just play this fight a little. I'd look at ownerships, play it about whatever field weight is, and whoever you like, move up from there. Lou, what do you like here? You like Billy Goff's fucking stomach tattoo?
I fucking love Pepe. The problem with this roast is he wouldn't realize we were roasting him. But... Bang!
You did it, not me.
I did.
I wanted to.
All right. Sorry, I gotta stop looking at chat. I mean, look, this is like this is the great bad fight of the week. Like, it's gonna be fun. Anybody saying this is it's not a good fight from like this to me is a great co-main event in a contender series. And you'd be like excited for it. Like this, and like I know Aaron's like a big LFA guy. If this was like a main event on an LFA card, like this is you're good with that, dude. Maybe? No, you're not good with this as a main event.
No, I would be okay with this as like a co-main event. Legit in an LFA. I've never been go ahead.
So if you're gonna bet this, and man, the takes this week, I love Santino and Olivas, and they think that Waters should be like minus 800 here. And then that other dude in the community that's like really annoying that I'm not going to mention is like 9,000 tweets about Goff. And like, I don't know how you super have a strong feeling here. Like, Olivas brought up like a great point. You know what the one thing you never want to hear as a fighter is? That you're like, when your best quality is you're a junkyard dog. Because it just means you get hit all the fucking time. Right? Like,
yep.
What do they say? Like, if you're like, there's like that whole thing on that show, The League, they did. It's like if you're a Latin American based player, it's like, fire plug, like just hot temper. Yeah. Oh, what do you say about a white guy? Gym rat. Like it's like the generic, like racial,
right?
Like every stereotype here. So if you think that Goff gets hit a ton, spoiler, he does. Then you should live bet him after 1 if you think he's going to come back. But I have a couple issues with this. Waters was he plus money against Quinlan? Do you guys remember? Was it like plus? Was he even money?
It looks like a pick 'em. I don't remember. I
think
he's
everybody was like, not sure if they wanted to bet him against Quinlan, even though Quinlan's like a total fucking fraud. And now he's a favorite, and people can't wait to bet him against Goff because Goff gets hurt every fight.
Yeah, he's plus like 140 against Quinlan.
Goff at the end of a couple of his regionals, like right at the end of rounds, was like ready to be submitted. Like this dude, it's like, yeah, he's shown some toughness, but like at some point, showing toughness, like you just die. You get to a level of this sport where like Quinlan was minus right. So at some point, you get to a level where like that toughness doesn't work. So like, do I feel like Goff might have a cardio advantage? Maybe. So I would wait to live bet him. I really think there's a possibility he gets knocked the fuck out. Like eventually you just can't sustain all these shots. And like the guys hurting him on the regionals. I mean, I'm no Trey Waters guy, but like he's got better boxing than a lot of these dudes in the regionals. So at some point, Goff's not going to be able to recover from these shots.
And he's like way fucking taller and way longer reach.
Now what I do like, and to know me is to know this is a big part of the capping process. I love the chest hair. This is like top 3. Like, so my list is, are you Brock Lesnar? That's number 1.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like Samoan. And then it's awesome chest hair. And then bad tattoos, like better tattoos is close to that in the capping process. And you guys in chat can learn a lot from me in my insanely good, refined capping process involving chest hair. Like, I feel like Russian chest hair and then non-Russian chest hair are very different things. Like, you're Russian with chest hair. I am Vegas Dave, max bet, whale play on that.
Yeah, but if you're
Billy
Russian
Goff,
without
not
chest
so
hair, I
much.
got questions, bro.
I hope you guys are learning a lot today. I'm well aware of this. So I'm going to say maybe wait to live bet Goff after 1. You're not going to get a good price. Like if Waters loses 1, you're not interested in him winning the second and third. And if Goff wins the first and you don't get a bet, I think that's fine too. So if I had to target it that way, he could. And well, then you just don't get a bet on it. And like, I'm all right not getting a bet if he nukes him. I mean, it doesn't even have to be after 1. It could be after the 2-minute mark. Like, basically, you're waiting to live bet when Goff, the leads it does have, like, a pretty nice...
Number 1.
Like, I'm ready to give Russian... I mean, dude, if you're Russian with chest hair, you're automatically minus 500 if you're a Russian with chest hair.
You have to be to survive, bro.
Like, I don't even have to have heard of you. You could make up a fucking name, and I assume your grappling's awesome. Like, that's so, yes, you're getting my money. To Dogfather's point, it's not even you have to worry about after round 1. You're really waiting until Goff just gets hurt. It could be 1 minute into the fight. He gets rocked, then you hit the live bet on him. So.
There we go. Aaron, what do you think? I know.
Do you agree with this, Aaron? Is he a sexier Duplessis?
Sure. Why not? Honestly, this is like a fight that I don't really want much to do with. Both guys are very tough, and I think Trey Waters is a little more, I guess, skilled of the two of these guys, but like I don't want much to do with this one. I think that Trey Waters has faced the better guys leading up to the UFC. His win over like Jalen Fuller is obviously a good win to have, things like that. But you know, neither guy is a guy I'm really too interested in, and I won't want anything to do with this fight.
Yeah, well said. I mean,
sorry,
I like the chest hair, but the trust your gut and make it happen. There we go. Somebody combine Diego Lopez and Goff here.
Well, I'm not going to say trust your balls like somebody else does.
Let's see. Tabitha Baby Shark Ricci taking on Tisha Pennington Nay Torres. Minus 142 for Ricci, plus 142 or 122, excuse me, for Pennington. Plus 275 fight doesn't go. Over 2.5 is minus 400. What would you expect? Another one. I'm not trying to pick on the ladies here, but just like the first fight of the night, this is one I'm not too interested in for DraftKings. If I would be, I'd be interested in probably the Pennington side, but she's a little too expensive. Second highest priced dog on the entire card. So after the 2-year layoff, I'd be more interested to hear what you guys have to say and for ways to play this. But yeah, I'm not feeling this one for DraftKings too much. I like some more mid-range people a little bit better in this fight. Aaron, what do you got? Ricci or Pennington, or you like a time prop maybe?
Yeah, with this fight, it's a lot of unknowns on the Pennington side. Obviously, coming back prior to having a kid, I would have been siding with her pretty clearly in this spot. I just don't. I think that I just don't see the wrestling being really effective from Ricci, and this just kind of being a kickboxing fight on both sides. I don't think there's much of a finish likelihood on either side either. So it's just kind of a square decision. I mean, I again lean ever so slightly with the dog, but with all the unknowns and with the time off and everything like that, I'm not going to get to a window on it. But in a vacuum, I would take Pennington Torres over Ricci pretty handily in this spot.
Yeah, as a nickname guy, man, fundamentally, there's not much better than Tisha the Tiny Tornado Torres, and she just had to go ruin it. So I don't know what she was thinking there. Lou, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm with Aaron on this. Like, I think I actually, and Pepe continues. This is why
Ad access is such a funny way to put that.
In all fairness,
access denied.
In all fairness, like, dude, he's like the number one capper in not only in the space, but in
number one menstrual capper.
I mean, but Pepe created a monster last week with me, and I'm not gonna like get in the whole conversation, but it ended up. I think both of you actually know a lot of this, but it ended up with me doing a lot of haikus, and like Pepe brought it up to me, and I'm like, how the fuck am I not thinking of that, dude? He says things to me that like I should be like, it should be like response number one. I'm like, God damn it, man! Like, how do I not know this? Look, if you take the 2-year layoff out of this fight, what do you cap it at? Like, Torres Pennington would be the favorite.
Yes.
I think. Small, like probably 140, 150, I would think. And the reason being, I don't think, and even now, I don't think Ricci can take her down. And if Ricci can't take her down, and this is 15 minutes on the feet,
yeah,
dude, her arms are like 1 inch long. Like, I don't think she's going to really be able, unless she like is crashing the pocket like always, just bum rushing in and like landing flurries and getting out. I don't know how she has sustained success on the feet. Whereas with Torres / Pennington, she's Torres. I don't care. I'm not doing this anymore. Like, I'm not doing the whole, I'm done with people changing their fucking names. I'm done with De Silva, Lacerda. I'm done with all this crap, dude. I'm done. By the way, changing your name before your next fight has not worked out very well for Lipsky.
I gotta get a stat on this.
Yeah, they're like 0 in a million. So like, I'm done with this crap. Don't change. If you get in the UFC, just don't change your fucking name. All right. Or do what David Tell used to say and change your name to Pizza Pussy Santa, because everybody likes one of those things. Like, that's the only name you should ever change your name to. Sorry for all the kids out there watching the show. I know we have like a big audience with like maybe like with Tommy's son. But to me, if it doesn't hit the ground, then it's just 15 minutes on the feet. I don't, and this isn't even like a small margins fight. I don't know how you don't like Torres here to land the more effective shots, to land more shots. Yeah, the variable is she's been out for a while, but like, I don't even think it's like, does it really matter? Isn't it like an overblown narrative? Oh, they've been out.
Yeah.
Dude, she's married to a pro fighter who just won the fucking title. She's not training. She's not training against like pretty good people. Like, yeah, she is, dude. So, yeah, Dogfather's not understanding Legos. He's not
just confusion.
Parts. So, yeah, give me Torres here. And this is a family show. This is a family program.
Exactly.
What does Trebek say? And the show, and we've hit a new low on the show.
Well, he doesn't say much these days.
Once again, we ask our guests, please refrain from ethnic slurs.
Here we go. A decent
mustache on your Dago hair.
Decent fight here. Esteban El Gringo Ribovich taking on Terrence McKinney. minus 161 for Ribovich, plus 141 for McKinney, minus 800, which could be his fight IQ, but it's also fight doesn't go the distance, and minus 260 for the under 1.5. She did actually give birth, I'm pretty sure. I'll just, this one's easy for DraftKings. Play this fucking fight. McKinney has 3 minutes of decent fight finishing equity and 3 minutes, maybe less, of decent fight IQ. Ribovich, if he can last, also has a very good finish chance. And I really like the Ribovich side at 8,900. That's where I'm going with this. I'll play a little McKinney because you have to, but he's beaten Eric Gonzalez, Mike Breeden, and Brendan Marat in his last 5 fights. Yeah, I'm going with Esteban Ribovich here. Aaron, what do you like on this lightweight banger?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's McKinney by sub or KO in the first 3, or Ribovich by KO in round 2, and I just don't see a lot of other likely scenarios here. It depends. If we see a really low output McKinney who's trying to just survive for 15 minutes, we might see Ribovich, kind of beating him up a 3rd round or possible decision. I don't see any way McKinney wins the decision. I don't see any way McKinney really has much of a chance of a finish outside the first 7.5 to 10 minutes either, even if he paces himself. So McKinney is just, to me, a pretty broken fighter at this point. I feel like this is being set up for Ribovich to have a kind of a show out and get that finish that he's been missing so far. So it's got good toughness as well, so could be a good live spot for Ribovich too if we get that ever elusive 10-8 first, if McKinney just drops him a couple times and then cardio dumps in front of the St. Louis audience. So I don't know, but I do feel like this is set up for Ribovich, and Ribovich should put up pretty good numbers when he does get the finish here.
Hell yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to.
I like round 2. I already played it.
There we go, Lou. Round 2. Hey, Lou, that pays more, I heard. What do you got for this one?
I was surprised Ribovich's round 2. I have plus 650 on one of my books.
Oh my gosh.
And I feel like, so I already bet it, but this is going to be one of these bets where I either bet way too much money on a round prop that I shouldn't, or I hate myself for not betting literally the whole roll on a round prop.
Right.
I love it. And one of the things here that I think is interesting is Aaron's talking about McKinney sub, which if he's smart, he goes for takedowns.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know if I don't know that I look at Terrence McKinney and I think there's a smart fighter. I just think he's one of these dudes that's autopilot. Also, he's talking to Guru on Twitter. And I look at Guru and I look at McKinney and I'm like, yeah, these guys don't look alike. I don't know what they have in common. And they're talking about, what the fuck were they talking about yesterday, Monk?
I didn't catch it.
And Guru's like, yeah, you did.
No, this was Charles Johnson. This was Charles Johnson.
Charles. Yeah, whoops. So
from the top.
All right. So I'm the worst, but now that I'm talking about that, now I'm gonna just fucking slay Guru. Now I'm roasting Guru for a second, dude. If you're in your 20s and you keep saying back in the day with people, just don't say it. What day is back in the day for you? Last fucking Tuesday, dude. You're in your 20s. Shut the fuck up. Enough of the shit.
Yeah. All
right. So anyway, yeah, JP. I'm for the record. You know what I am? The worst. I'm the fucking. Yeah, I did. Oh, so I like Ribovich in the distance. Let's get to this fight. That's the chest hair. You can set your
look at Chase Hooper blushing over here. I mean, come on, Slava Claus. What's better than a hairy-chested, bald guy with a red beard? I mean, that's what I'm asking you, chat.
Tell all your friends, guys.
Slava Claus Borchev
mixing people up. Tell all your friends.
Taking on Chase Hooper, minus 140 for Slava Claus, plus 120 for Hooper, minus 325 doesn't go. I started reading that comment and I had to stop myself.
That is the winner of the night, guys. Guys, y'all been crazy all night. This is the new lead. This is the clubhouse leader right now. and just it has Parker Porter in it. Like, you're not beating us.
Yeah.
You imagine having his kid?
I can't.
Hey, DD, you know what I know that kid wouldn't do? Get me a round 2 fucking submission. Like father, like son. Get me a fucking round 2 sub, Porker. You piece of shit.
Not gonna happen.
God damn it.
Well, Lou, start us off here. What do you got?
I can't stop salivating. Look at this hunk of man, dude. All right, look. I'm maybe flip-flopping on this fight.
He's thinking about it too much.
Not all week, but like my whole life. This is just like, I love Slava. I kind of hate Chase Hooper. Do I think Hooper can get bonked 1,000,000%? Do I want the Russian hat dance? You better fucking believe it. Like, everything lines up with like a Slava KO bet. But I don't know, man. Like, is it really so binary that one takedown and the fight's over? Like, forget Diakese, who does not. Diakese does fucking nothing. He gets a takedown and he's like, "Yep, I'm on break. Don't bother me. I'm on break." Mike Davis is typically more aggressive, but he wasn't even like super hunting for anything that fight against Slava. So is it as binary are people saying? I feel like on the feed it is. I feel like it's one-way traffic. I'm not worried about how this plays out on the feed. The question, like, does Hooper has he grown into his like fucking man-child body at this point? Where he can effectively get takedowns. He can rush the pocket and just control Slava. I'm not sure he can. But like Brady said it best. Whoever wins this fight looks minus 1,000 and the rest of us look like fucking idiots. This is not competitive. And you're going to know in like 30 seconds. 30 seconds in this fight. You can't live bet before it's done. I'm going to pick Slava. The time props here are like, this is a great parlay. I don't love parlaying minus 300s, but this is a pretty, I there's no way this fight goes a distance, right?
I wouldn't think so.
Like, I know Slava's kind of historically tough to finish. Sadakov's a whole different style, but like, dude, he can get hit. And I think a dude that aggressively hunts for subs can get him out. Meanwhile, I love me some Steve Garcia, but like, holy balls, this is a levels fight from Steve Garcia in terms of the striking. Like, I don't know how Hooper withstands 10 shots from Slava.
Yeah.
So I'm going to pick Slava Claus, but haven't bet. And the Slava KO pays shit, dude. It's like 1 plus 110 or some shit. Like, it's terrible. I don't know, man. I'm starting to like wonder. I feel it like in my plums. I don't know. I know I want. If you're asking me who I'm rooting for, it's Slava Claus. Again, I can't look at this guy from Mount Olympus, sculpted from Mount Olympus, and not fucking want him to win. Plus, if you're rooting for Hooper, like, let's be honest, you have pedophiliac.
You listen to Nickelback. We'll just say that.
You 1,000,000% think that Nickelback is a top 3 rock and roll band. I agree with that sentiment. So
you were happy
I'm picking Slava by KO. I hate it. Dogfather did bring up something that I want to talk about. I think the KO for Hooper, it's like plus 1,100 on my one book. I feel like that's wide. I feel like Hooper throws a ton of ground and pound. Like, he's not just hunting for subs. I think Hooper throws a lot on the ground. So I think if you like the KO, like Hooper KO is probably a prop that's like worth a post. Even if you like the Slava play, I think Hooper KO is a little too wide. And he's been like alternating subs and KOs, so he's due for a KO.
For sure. And if Lou's camera goes off, true. That's corrct. Yeah,
it's about to. I'm gonna go finish my smoke.
Yeah, sure thing. Yeah, I am on the Borchev finish as well, and I'm not mad about it. I like it at 8,500. I think it's fantastic for DraftKings, and at 7,700, Chase Hooper's worth a stab as well. This is a great fight for GPPs. Again, I'm going to be on the Borchev side mostly, just because, like he said, how can he withstand that many strikes from Hooper? If Borchev is somehow able to either get him out of here early or just defend one takedown, I think we're onto something. But that could be a kind of a lot to ask. We'll have to see. Aaron, what do you like here between Slava and Chase the Dream Hooper?
Yeah, this is for me. I'm not overthinking it, and I am also on the Borchev side.
Nice.
Borchev KO, 6 of his 7 wins by KO, and he's just going to land so much on Hooper. It is the key of once he stops the first takedown. Again, this is another fight where, similar to a Hadley fight, if I really rated the wrestling of Hooper highly, I'd be more worried. But I don't think that Hooper has that incredible wrestling. If it is that one takedown and gets it done after the sub there, so be it. But I don't think that's how it will go. And I do think as this fight goes, the harder the takedowns will be to come for Hooper. Again, bigger octagon as well, I think helps Borchev. And Borchev's going to put him out of there. If this goes the distance, you earn that plus 250, whoever.
Yeah.
That's sick.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Love it. This next one really shouldn't take long at all. Robelis Despania minus 250, 9K, interestingly enough, on DraftKings, taking on Waldo Cortez-Acosta plus 210 at 7,200, minus 800. Fight doesn't go. The over, actually, I should say the under 1.5, minus 225. Aaron, what do you like here from these heavyweights?
I am not a Waldo Acosta Cortez believer at all. Anytime a fighter does something more than just stand and punch with him, particularly when they kick, he struggles with it. And we've seen that he's been KO'd by low-level boxers as well in his boxing career. But I do think that Despain just needs to be at distance, use the kicks to all 3 levels, and I think that it puts out Cortez-Acosta within a couple minutes. And we still have all the same questions about him going into his next fight of what does he do after the first 3 minutes? And, we'll find out. But I think this is the level where he does kind of blast through his opponent. And at minus 250, I get it's gotten to a point where it sucks. But, yeah, I do think at the same point, Waldo Acosta has a very fraudulent 9-1 record. Very, very not. And this is a good setup fight for the UFC to get to Despain having a co-main event slot within 3 fights, and they can just be like, look at this is where we're at this point.
Yeah.
Look, we have 54 cards to fill this year, so get ready for him in a main event slot.
Yeah, one flyweight couldn't make weight / got hurt, and all of a sudden Ursig is fight. I'm not saying he shouldn't be fighting, but I'm saying 3 fights at a division. I mean,
and that's in a pay-per-view. We have a fight night. Come on.
Yeah, that tells you a lot about the division. So yeah, I can see that for sure. Super quick. I mean, this is just like the main event. One of these guys holds the Thanos gauntlet in his fucking hand, so you have to play him in Robelis Despania. The obviously under 1 minute bonus is live. If he gets a knockdown and a 1 minute finish, he's probably going to be optimal. He's definitely going to be optimal at 9,000. And if this goes more than the first round, maybe there's, Cortez-Acosta's worth a little bit more than a punt. I kind of agree. I think Despania actually, it's so funny because you watch the Parisian fight. He fell down, then he gets up, he's stepping backwards and clocks Parisian, knocks him down, fights over while he's going backwards. And then you see a video of him today or recently. This dude's 6'7" with the longest reach in the NBA, trying to dunk a basketball. Did you see this fucking video?
Good. Let all this come out. Let's lower this price. Yes, everybody's so excited for our deal.
Can we cap this?
I mean, dude,
All of them.
all
would
from
take
every
all of them.
dimension. Lucy 137, all of them you would need. Yeah,
He'd
that
fucking-
dunking the basketball video is fucking hilarious. It's so good. So yeah, maybe not the most athletic, but he definitely holds power in his hands. So you got to play him. Lou, how do you see this one? Any different?
I just want to answer this more effectively. And that is, I think part of it depends on what the fucker is drinking at the bar. Like, he's French, right?
Right.
Spain. So, like, I don't know. I have a pretty good record against French historically.
Might be the biggest Frenchman they've ever.
I don't have a really good
made.
record against like 6'7" dudes.
Yeah.
Yep, that's true.
So I'm gonna say that Lou dies in like before he picks up the ashtray. The dude just, and also he could. The problem I have here is he could be sitting like 4 seats away from me and still hit me.
Can you shit yourself to
I'd have
death?
to like.
You might not even have to throw a strike.
I feel like I'd be at a reach disadvantage. And then, like, you know, like when you take your nephew or whatever.
I feel like I'd be at a reach
like you would be. He has a 97-inch
thing
reach.
I've ever heard.
He has a 97-inch reach, Lewis.
You feel like, you know, like when you put your palm
what the
out,
hell?
You know, like you put your palm out. Like
no,
like,
we're aware that his reach might be a little longer than you.
You know, like you try to run it. You know, like you'll do that to your nephew with your palm, and they run at you and they can't touch you. I feel like that's very in play here for him. If I just like have to do that.
Yeah, but he could also iron claw you to death.
Yeah,
I mean, so I don't like my odds. Is what I'm saying. Now, Chris Curtis couldn't do that, but it's because he's a fucking bitch.
There we go.
Can I give a pick for that fight? Do you mind?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Did we break this fight down? Yeah, Aura. We have the Aura. I don't have Aura against them. Didn't we like break this fight down? I think, Monk, did we break this down 2 weeks ago?
This fight?
What heavyweight fight was on? We were like, can we talk about this one instead of the one that was on? Do you remember this?
I don't remember. Maybe was it the Breshke? I don't remember.
I think so. And I'm like, can I break down the Acosta fight instead of this? Because that's more fascinating to me. And Acosta was like plus 140 at the time. And I liked Acosta at 140. Dude, how do I not take Acosta at plus 210? Do I think he's good? I don't know, but I think he's pretty fucking tough. I know he got knocked out like in the amateur. I get it, dude, but
it does not look like it.
I gotta think that like if he can just survive a round, like. How is he not like super fucking live rounds? You know, dude, and even against Lima, where like his leg was just chewed up. The dude's cardio is pretty good. His volume's good late. Like, I don't know, man. I think let's put it this way: 1,000,000% you live bet him after one if you get any kind of number.
Sure,
you have to. You have to live bet him after one. But dude, the round 1 KO for Despain's like even money. Like, fuck that, dude. Fuck that. Fuck it. I'm picking Acosta. Fuck all y'all. I'm picking Acosta. I'll be on the island. I mean, no chest hair here. It's terrible. It's hard. I can't believe they're having the fight. But give me this block of cheese, Acosta, to survive a round against fucking heavyweight Hawes. Who called him Phil Hawes in the chat? Somebody called him Phil Hawes. I mean, now I can't unsee it. Yeah, so, and now, if there's one thing I like better than chest hair, it's fucking Caceres' head.
I mean, Sean Woodson, Alex Caceres minus 225 to plus 190, plus 200. Fight doesn't go. The over 2.5 is minus 280. Aaron, why don't you start us off here?
Oh, this is one of the more, tough, closer fights on the card. It's one I've talked with Lou about a little bit leading into this one. And it's one that, again, I would love if Caceres actually went for a takedown or something in any of his fights, but he doesn't do that. He does find himself in grappling situations that usually have been created by his opponent at some point in the fight. He has a decent grappling edge. The submission, I did play a small play on the submission for Caceres, but my heart of hearts, I truly don't believe that's what ends up happening. I think this ends up being a pretty close fight on the feet where Woodson just is getting 3-2 in terms of the volume on the feet, kind of determining where it is due to the reach, going to the body a little bit more. The pop is on Caceres' side, I think, slightly. But yeah, I mean, probably Woodson frustrates Caceres and gets jabs his way kind of to the decision. But if Caceres can kind of get Woodson down to the ground, get to his scramble, get to his back, I would not be surprised if Caceres ends up snatching up or even, pulling a ghillie like our boy Cody B. I would love to see Caceres. I played a small play on the sub, but I honestly think that Woodson ends up getting a kind of just a ho-hum decision. And I'm not excited if Woodson wins this fight. Honestly, if Caceres does, I think it's by finish, possibly. So
yeah, I completely agree. All the DraftKings upside lies with Caceres, in my opinion. Woodson, we talked about terrible fight IQ with McKinney earlier. Go watch that Louis Saldana fight if you want to see two terrible fight IQs on display. That was just god awful. And was that a Tayshaun Prince reference from Justin Villegas? I love it. 7,100 for Caceres. I don't mind it. I kind of lean with exactly what you said, Aaron. I pick Woodson by decision. I relate this to the first fight of the night and the other women's fight of the night as well, as in it probably goes to decision, doesn't score well, and one of these guys is probably overpriced. Say what you will about Caceres. Dude's been fighting forever, but he has, he's losing to only Sadiq Youssef and Giga Chikadze in his last 5, so tends to go to decision way more often than not lately, and that's what I think happens here. So give me Woodson, rooting for Caceres, Bruce Leroy, but Woodson decision, and for DraftKings, I'm not too interested. Lou, finish us off with this fight here. What do you got?
Yep, Woodson decision. Let's move on. No bet on this fight for me. I'm just gonna root for Caceres. I just feel like I feel like Woodson just kind of, lands everything from distance, and that's the end of the fucking fight, and it's gonna be boring as shit.
Yay!
Yeah, Saldana does deserve prison time for.
I gotta dig up a Yambag fight, by the way.
That's true.
We're on the main card now. I better do what the people came here for me.
Speaking of prison time, Diego.
I was gonna say, speaking of hair, good hair. How do you not root for this dude, Carlos Diego Ferreira? Man, look at that
against Liam Rebecki.
Fucking permed out, bro. I loving it. Against Liam Rebecki. Minus 510. Most expensive guy on the card. 9,400 plus 385 for CDF. Minus 205. Fight doesn't go. And the over 2.5 is plus 140. Lou, why don't you start us off here?
Do we think that Jake Hadley is racist?
I mean, the name raises questions. At least one question, but I don't think that.
I mean,
it's British, dude. They're like, it's different, bro. I don't know.
I'm not seeing like really a lot of good Yambag shots on this card. But that fight's going to probably go the distance. And there could be some racism. And it's switch versus. I think it's all right. I don't know if Hadley kicks enough for my liking for a Yambag shot, but he may just punt him in the sack.
Here we go.
And I guess Ricci and Pennington, we get a clam bag shot. But just for the people, for the culture, I'm going to say Hadley Johnson is your Yambag special. So I'm not going to get cute with this one. I think Rebecki's going to knock him out. Probably 2-3. I can't with Ferreira, man. Like, he's older. He doesn't have a lot of volume. It's weird because people are still talking about Rebecki against Fiore and like, well, he gassed and that. Dude, people overcap debuts so much. Like, I feel like this is a huge mistake. Like, dude, it's his debut. Yeah, he unloaded the tank. By the way, he basically he was fucking landing everything he could on Fury. And Fury has proven, while he's not like a gifted fighter, dude's tough. I just think the Loic fight, was it Loic? Yeah, dude, like he that when Rebecca, and even on the regionals, dude, it's not like Rebecca's rushing and like just throwing everything recklessly early. Like, dude's got a process. Dude can mix in takedowns. I don't know how many takedowns he's really going to mix in here. But I don't trust Ferreira at this point in his career. And I don't trust his durability. And I think Rebecca's the dude just on a very good. I think the line's justified. It's not a parlay piece, but in the distance is like minus 130. And I think that's, 2 threes. And he can get a submission here too if he wants. Don't play KO here, like just strictly KO. I think he can mix it up here. And I think his gas tank is a lot better than people think it is because of the Fury fight. So I think Rebecca easily gets this done, stays out of trouble, like wins wherever this fight goes. So
there we go.
But I got to give Ferreira's the whole presentation of this motherfucker. Hair,
fantastic.
It's everything is like what I want, and then Rebecca is like the base model of a creative fighter. So like I hate that part. I will say that he's literally, if you just start the game, he's player one.
That hairline is crazy, dude. It's like way back here. It's like way back here. It's crazy.
I don't think that subs. Bro. I don't think the subs out of play for Rebecca. It's more likely KO. I'm not. This is not like a crazy thought, but I do think like if he's gonna mix in takedowns, especially if Ferreira gasses, I don't think the sub's crazy. It's not like It's not a non-zero chance here. But probably that's pretty funny.
Yeah, he just needs like a cloak or some shit.
That's another. By the way, I have not played that game because I haven't.
Yeah, it's weird. It is a weird.
But I know what it. But I am aware of what Elden Ring is.
It's like the soul patch on the head. You know those guys that only have like this right here and nothing else. That's what this is.
The only video game I play is Horizon Zero Dawn.
Fucking Donkey Kong on arcade,
and that's from like years ago. And like I don't play games anymore because I'm old and because I don't have time.
I don't play games.
And also because when you're 46, dude, video games are fucking hard now, man.
Mm-hmm.
They're fucking hard, dude. Like I can't see the screen. I'm laying on my couch and I'm like trying to read what the people are saying. I don't know what the fuck's going on. And like I remember like when Genesis came out, I'm like, oh my god, 3 buttons. This is psychotic. Now it's like fucking 9. Here's like now you got like 9,000 buttons on this fucking thing, and it's like oh, do you want to shoot the guy or do you want to shoot him slower? I'm like, can I just what? No, can I just hit what? Why? Why are you asking me to do all these things with buttons? And then it's like, oh, well, you can't just hit the button up. You got to use the trigger and the joystick. And I'm like, oh, all right, I give up, dude. Where's the punch button? And I have like just the punch. That's all I want.
If only it was that easy, Lou. Shit's more complicated. Aaron, what do you got for this one?
Yeah, I'll keep it pretty simple. I don't think Ferreira is going to be around much longer. I think he'll be on the UFC roster watch within the next couple of fights. He's probably just finishing out his contract at this point. He's 39, almost 40 years old. He looks it. Rebecca, 31, approaching his prime at this point. And I think gets a finish inside of 2 rounds. So whether it's by KO or not, it doesn't really matter to me. I just think he gets a finish. So, yeah, not much more to say.
I'd love to see it. I completely agree. Hopefully it does go at least long enough for him to get a couple of takedowns for my DraftKings perspectives, because even if he is most expensive, I'm loving the finish here. Like you just said, Diego, almost 40 years old, has lost and been taken down by Dariush Gillespie and Gamrot 5 times, 4 times, and 4 times. So he can get back up when decent guys take him down. So I'm hoping for a little bit of mat returns for Rebecca, and then a knockdown as he's been prone to do, and rack up those points there, end it with a KO finish. I'd love to see it. Love Rebecca at 9,400 this week, and he's going to be in a ton of my cash and GPP lineups for that matter. I think you can play him in any format. Next fight, Carlos Ulberg. I love this fight. Taking on Alonzo Menafield. Olberg minus 265. Wow. Plus 225 to come back on Menafield. Minus 290. Fight doesn't go the distance. So it's not as big, quite as big as the main event you'll see, but it is a pretty large number there. And the under actually 1.5 is plus 105. Man, I cannot help but look at that number on Menafield and look at the salary of 6,900 on Menafield and just think to myself, well, I kind of got to roster him. Olberg's looked good, obviously, but who's he beaten? Fabio Charant, Tafon and Chukwi, Nicky Gums, Ihor Pateria, and Da-Un Jung, probably his best opponent in that run. I mean, we're not talking about killers here, man. He's looked good, but it's against the middling type of guys. Middling to lower middle of the light heavyweight division. Alonzo Menafield, meanwhile, I mean, Askar Mazarov is on his list, okay? I'm not saying he's beaten like super good guys, but Misha, Jimmy Crute, and then Dustin Jacoby, who he put on a decent performance there, finishing that fight off. Actually, not finishing it off, but towards the end of the fight, looking very, very good and locking that fight up for him. So I can't help but think that Menafield's more than a good punt play, and I might just pick him to win as well. I don't know, man. I'm very interested to hear what you guys have to say, but I'm kind of leaning a little bit towards the Menafield side. I don't really know why, but I kind of think this line is a lot too wide here. Aaron, what do you think?
Yeah, I think Olberg is 100% certified fraud.
Nice.
And his best win in his last 4 is Nikolai Negermanu, and he got that very, very early on. Yeah, I was impressed by that win because look at who else he's facing and winning against. Yes, his debut was against Kennedy Njoku, but what he made Kennedy Njoku look like there once you extended him was pretty frightening. There's kind of, I get it. There's Menafield has had all of his stumbles on this stage. So they've been, OSP, he's gotten knocked out by a few others. Like, I get it. Against Jacoby in the last fight, he was losing until he was winning it. Pretty good quality to have in a fighter to be winning a fight, taking the fight towards the end. His critique used to be that his cardio was an issue. He's definitely worked on that. He's improved a lot, even though he's, in his mid-30s at this point still. I think he enjoys no USADA as well. I think both these guys prior enjoying no USADA, though, so I don't think there's an issue there. Olberg has a wicked left hand, so I do think that Menafield's going to have to be really smart defensively, and he's going to be a little more cautious, I think, in this spot. I do think he goes to the wrestling a little bit more. It'll be interesting to see how he can translate that. The fight goes the distance, like, I know it seems insane, but it's not, I think, the craziest stab in this spot because Olberg is going to be terrified of the takedowns, terrified of clinching against the cage, wanting to stay on the movement a little more. Menafield's aware he's been knocked out by a left hook or left cross in multiple shots. Now that might not matter. You can be aware and get knocked, but I do think that I have Menafield. I bet Menafield at plus 170. Plus 180, plus 210, and now plus 225. I'm thinking about it again.
Wow.
So, I'm not afraid to do this in spots before. Lou, as Lou knows, I do like my money line bets. So I did it with Derek Lewis along the DeLima train that whole time when all of MMA Twitter was on DeLima for that fight. So we got Derek Lewis up at like plus 190 by fight time. I just think this line is way off here, and Olberg has been pretty much frauds up to this point.
Yeah, that's the last thing I was going to say. He's Olberg 9,300. So even if you like him, I agree. I think this one goes longer. He has to get a first round finish over Alonzo Menafield, who's been finished one time in his entire pro career. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm saying it's unlikely for him to pay off that salary. So that makes me less like Olberg, even less at that price. I mean, second most expensive guy. I don't think he's going to knock out Menafield or finish him early. So I could be wrong, but I just don't think he pays that off. Lou, what do you got here?
I can't believe we're going to go 3 for 3 on this fucking fight. Aaron and I were talking
about this. Oh, my God.
Aaron and I were talking about this, like, Sunday, like, so early in this week. Like, and he's like, I love Menafield this week. And I'm like, I do too. Like, just maybe part of it is like I just fucking hate Olberg. Like I hate this guy. Like I hate him. I think he's kind of a fraud. If you don't want to bet Menifield because he's failed you in the past so many times, I get it. Like the William Knight fight, like trust me. Like I think I didn't have Yambags in the Menifield Crute fight, and like to this day, it's my biggest regret not taking like a point deduction in that first fight. But
that William Knight fight was before Menifield knew how to fight 15 minutes. Again, he was terrified.
Am I crazy to think that Menifield's improving?
No.
Like, I think he's pacing his cardio a little better. You know,
no USADA.
No USADA, so he can take all the fucking roids. The biggest prop. So here's my one concern. Now, I'm not like the biggest Dustin Jacoby guy. I mean, look, I'm like friends with his BFF. But what you worry about here is, does Ulberg pose some of the same problems that Jacoby did in terms of range management? But I kind of think Jacoby's just like doesn't have the power, but like I feel like he's just a way better kickboxer. Like he's way better at managing range, whereas Ulberg is like throwing a lot of weird shit and like his hands are down because he's just so used to getting away with like just staying out of everybody's range. And I mean, the guys he's beat, like Ihor sucks, and we all know that Ihor fucking sucks. And Negrimianu is honestly a fucking bum. Like the Unjung, he's all right. He's not great. Like, I don't know, man. Like, Ulberg hasn't fought anybody that like really can throw back at him. Like, and don't give me Pateria because Pateria fucking stinks. But like, yeah, and dude, you will be up all the units. This is a valued way to play fights. So I like Menifield here. Dude, his round 1 KO. Oh, and I don't think Menifield's drawn dead to round 1, by the way. But dude, his round 1 KO is like 10-1, 11-1 range. Like, that's crazy to me. Like, I don't know. Like, yeah, absolutely. Like, the thing, I'm using the comparison, like, does Menifield kind of get frustrated, like, where he's drawn dead to a bomb? I don't think he's drawing to a bomb here to win. I really think he can hurt Ulberg. I think if Menifield gets Ulberg against the cage, he's going to probably just win minutes, man. I'm still not convinced Ulberg's some great wrestler because he got a submission. Like,
no,
you know, like, so give me Menifield here. Probably KO. I don't think. I did think it was interesting that fight to end in sub was like +950.
I was going to say Menifield's got submissions.
I know, but I don't want to. I don't want to get cute with this one because I kind of feel like nobody's going to attempt the sub. Like, I know why I think sub prop is possible, but like honestly, I don't even think anybody's going to attempt the sub in this fight.
Menifield by St. Preux is live here, 100%.
Yeah, look, this is what I'm saying. If you don't bet Menifield because you've been burned by him in the past, I totally get it, man. Because it's like any fighter. Like, at some point, you're like, fuck this. I'm just not betting the guy, and I'm rooting for him to die. I don't know, man. I feel like of all the favorites on this card, easily Ulberg is the most vulnerable here. So
he's the Vitor Petrino this week. Could be. I'm not saying he is. Could be.
Well, I'd like to mention that on this very show and on Aaron's very show, I was adamant about how much I liked Anthony Smith last week.
Yes, sir.
As was our boy 2 Cents.
Yes.
We split the panel last week because 2 Cents and I were like, 2 Cents isn't here right now, so I'll channel and be like, all y'all motherfuckers.
Line off Anthony Smith.
So
yeah, that was a great call.
Man. I do. I like Menifield here to get the dub, and
there we go.
And then say absolutely nothing of note in his post fight.
Not
interview.
call anyone out. Yeah,
he gets like weirdly angry when they interview him. Like he's like, I can't believe you disrespected me, and then they're like, nobody disrespected you, dude. What do you want next? Thank you, Lord and Jesus. And I'm like, all right, all
right. Anyways,
who is it
can
talking shit to
Can we get Ishihara to just do the post-fight speeches for half these guys and talk about where his Salt Lake City bitches are? Can we just get that from now on?
Who was the guy last week that was talking shit to Cormier? Was it Close? You said some shit about, and it's like, bro.
Dude, you
This
won
is
like
how
you
you're
barely won a
using your
division. Like,
time.
shut the
This
fuck
is how
up,
you're
dude.
using your time. Super. Cut a promo on the fucking guy interviewing you. Also, if you shave your chest, just remember that's less time that you could be training. You're shaving your chest instead.
That's right.
Joaquin Buckley taking on Nursultan Ruzaboyev. Minus 129 for Buckley, plus 109 for Ruzaboyev, minus 285 doesn't go. The over 1.5 is minus 145. I'm on the Nursultan Ruzaboyev side, to be honest. Everybody's saying, oh, this is on short notice. These guys fought on the same exact card in their last fight. Ruzaboyev is, 6 inches taller. Somehow they have the same reach advantage, which is interesting. But I'm just on the Ruzaboyev side. I like his scoring upside at the price tag. And I don't know. I think it was somebody on the last, maybe it was Sniper. I did the show, the Bankroller Bus show with earlier. I kind of agree. Something about Buckley, I'm just not like sold that he's taking like, I know he keeps winning. Like he's won 3 in a row against decent competition and he's going up and up and up. I'm just not sold on it yet. So, and he never scores well ever for DraftKings. So I'm telling you what to do for DraftKings. 8,700 is super expensive. He might not even 10x that. I think he scored over 100 points, 3 out of his 8 wins. It's really, really poor scoring for Buckley. So Ruzaboyev higher ceiling. Lou, what do you got here between Buckley, Ruzaboyev co-main event?
Well, I'm always going to take the Philly guy, and that's Ruzaboyev.
Yep. It's a family name in Philly. The Philly Ruzaboyevs, they say when you describe them.
Buckley's another one of these fucking dudes that like I can just never really back. I can't back at chalk. He's not going to have a grappling upside here. I don't want to bring up a certain capper in the space that talked about Buckley's wrestling being on point, what advantage he has here. You know, this is the same Buckley that got out grappled in the 3rd round by Al Hassan. So, like, I don't want to hear it. Like, Buckley's grappling is terrible. So he's on top last fight because Luque is like, hey, I'm just going to lay down. Like, he's not going to have a grappling advantage here. Is he going to have a speed advantage? Probably. I don't know that he has a power advantage here, to be completely honest. Like, I don't. And I think, and this is a prop that I like here as a play, Ruzaboyev round 1 submissions 11-1. This is a dude with like 18,000 Kimuras in his like fight history. You look at who he trains with. If Ruzaboyev's smart, and he didn't do this against Dumas, and I'm really not sure why. Dude, just go for a takedown, like fucking immediately.
Yeah.
Take Buckley down. You can. I don't think Buckley's dude. I don't think Ruzaboyev's cardio is great. I don't think Buckley's cardio is great. Take him down. Sap his cardio. Get him in bad spots. I know Buckley's never been subbed. Buckley's not facing guys that would sub him. I think Ruzaboyev can absolutely fucking get this guy out of there at sub him round 1. So I like Ruzaboyev quite a bit. The fight doesn't go. This is another one where like I'd rather play like this fight doesn't go than the under 1.5 in the Acosta fight. Because at least this one, you have 2 guys that have equity to get it. Whereas with Acosta, I think he probably wins like a volume decision if he does survive the first. So I like this time prop a little better as a parlay piece. I think Ruzaboyev gets him out of there quick. And then somebody's going to put their thumb up his butt. Again,
there we go. I don't know if
for
you
the
can.
Second time in his career, a coach is going to put their thumb in his butt.
I don't know if you can bet on that, but we'll see.
Bet online. We'll talk to Dave Mason about getting that prop out.
What do you got here, Aaron? Both these guys just fought 41 days ago.
Yep, and Ruzaboyev coming down to 170. Yeah, this is just a fight I don't really want a whole lot to do with. I get it that everybody's kind of in love with Ruzaboyev and his variety of finishing capabilities here. Buckley is gotten pretty overrated. His last 3 are pretty tailor-made fights to have him look pretty good, to where he's not going to be challenged. But at the same point, Ruzaboyev, does struggle, especially as the fight gets to a decision. And I think the knockout is much more likely for Ruzaboyev than getting like a Kimura or a submission of that type on Buckley, who I think has good enough defensive grappling to kind of stay out of those kind of positions. So I don't know. I mean, if I had to pick a side, I would take Buckley by decision, but I'm not betting this fight at all. And I think it's going to be a lot. I think it's just going to be kind of close. And I think that this is, one of these two between this one and the Menafield-Oberg fight. I think if you bet these both these fights to go the distance, I think one of them's hitting. I really do. I think one of these is going to surprise, or both, possibly.
I was saying at these prices, it looks like one pays off both. One hit to pay off both. So that's not a bad look there. Let's go to the main event. At least we get, if that one turns out to be boring, at least this one shouldn't be. Derek Lewis, minus 157, taking on, what did I skip? What? Well, I don't know what he's doing. Taking on Rodrigo Nascimento, plus 137. Minus 1,000. Fight doesn't go as what I was alluding to earlier. And the over 1.5, minus 105. The under is minus 125. Yeah, this one's super easy for DraftKings. It's another one just like the Despaigne fight. One of these guys holds the ultimate score in the palm of his hand. If he can land it, you got to play him. My spreadsheet just froze up, but I think he's like 8,400. Derek Lewis is super cheap this week. Maybe third cheapest fighter on the entire, third cheapest favorite on the entire card. So I'm playing him. Nascimento, I guess I'll play a little bit in bigger tournaments, but man, I mean, I'm not picking him to win at all. I guess it could happen, but yeah, I'm on the Lewis side here, and I haven't been lately. I don't know if I was last time. I think I just stayed off that fight last time, which was a mistake. I should have been on Lewis, but yeah, this one, I don't think I'm going to do that again. So yeah, Lou, why don't you get into the main event and we'll let Aaron finish off the card.
So I'm upset that I didn't wear the My Balls is Hot shirt.
Oh, okay. I thought I skipped you for a second.
I don't get to wear it often, and like this would have been the fucking I almost have to do a show tomorrow now just to so I can wear it. But yeah, nobody felt bad. Well, maybe Aaron did. That's his guy. I mean, Aaron, that's his guy, but I didn't feel bad. I'm like, nope, didn't see it. Yeah, I didn't care. Algeo got finished. That was the card was over for me at that point. I was just really pissed. Yeah, I don't care if this is square, man. Lewis is gonna finish Nascimento, man.
I hope so.
I do. I will say this. I think the over 1.5, while terrifying, it's not a horrible play. There's a lot of people this week that are like, man, Nascimento is going to get takedowns. He's going to control them. I'm like, are you fucking, why? Why do you think that? This dude, who's Nascimento looked good against? Badeau? He didn't. He didn't look good against
Yeah,
Badeau.
Exactly.
He struggles to get takedowns. He doesn't have good entries at all either. He's I've mentioned this on the show before. You know, when in pro wrestling, you do an Irish whip and it's the most I'm throwing. I feel like Nascimento is one of these dudes, the way he goes for takedowns, he's basically telling you, by the way, I'm running at you and going for a takedown. I mean, the striking is not even fucking competitive here. I don't know. And I'm just, and then you have to look at the matchmaking here. Why the fuck would they make this fight? Because I don't think the UFC looks at Nascimento as a rising heavyweight prospect.
I wouldn't think so.
This is just a fight for Lewis to kill, right? Doesn't it have to be? And and the last thing I'll say here is, not that I didn't go and I didn't watch the whole 25-minute fight because I have no reason to, but the Almeida Lewis fight, I mean, Almeida is just so much more terrifying in all aspects of the sport than Nascimento is. And way better grappler, way better positional. I don't know. What is Nascimento going to even if he takes Lewis down, Lewis is going to use his I'm shoving you off me get up game.
Mm-hmm.
And Nascimento is not just wrapping up a neck in 5 seconds, dude. He's just not that kind of fighter. I don't get it, man. I guess you look at age, but even at heavyweight, dude, oh man, Lewis's cardio might be worse. Lewis looks tired when he walks into the cage. He always looks tired. And he's never tired. That's the thing. He's never tired. This dude's power carries late in the fights. I don't know that Nascimento can get I don't know that he's going to wrestle for 5 rounds. I don't know if he's capable of it. I don't know that he can have success with it. So at some point, Lewis is just going to absolutely send him to the hood.
Yeah, it could be.
Was that racial? Should I not have said that?
I just glazed over it. It could be. He could be sending him to the in an ambulance for sure. After this
ambulance,
ambulance.
That's racial.
No, you said it's racial makes it racial. That's just how I say. That's just how I say it.
Made it racial.
No, that's just how I say it.
We need to.
I listened to a lot of Outcasts growing up. That's how I say that word.
Aaron,
I say police. I don't say police. I say police because I watched The Wire as a child, and I say ambulance because I listened to Outcasts. Aaron, what do you got? Go ahead.
Yeah. Go ahead. We'd have Tommy, but we know what he's going to say.
There you go. Take us home with the main event.
Yeah, I like Derek Lewis a lot in this spot. KO can happen anywhere, for sure. Inside the fight, got 1 and 2 played on my card. I just think that Nascimento in these fights, for one, he has been knocked out. He just has terrible reactions in general to when he gets buzzed. He also dips his head down to the right pretty routinely, right into, I think, where a left shovel hook's going to come for Derek Lewis. Derek's probably going to take a little time to download, maybe in the first round before he kind of unloads. And somewhere towards the end of the first round, beginning of the second round, I think he knocks out Nascimento with a left shovel hook, and puts him out cold. So I just think this is a levels fight, and Nascimento has a nice shiny record. So when Lewis is now 2 and 6 in his last 8, they can still put him in another main event in the Apex.
Yeah, exactly. Because how many fights does he have left? Maybe this is just a setup fight for his send-off fight where they put him against some killer, some up and coming, Jelt Almeida type again, exactly. Something like that. So yeah, I kind of see that the same way, guys. We did it all 13 fights, DraftKings and betting perspective. Be sure to check out Bankroll or Bust on the MonkMMATics channel. It was Gordo, it was Sniper, and it was the Dogfather. Had a very good time. Gave 12 very good bets on 12 different fights. You'll have to watch to see which fight didn't get picked. But yeah, other than that, nothing else this week. I am all done. Lou, tell the people where they should find you this week. Did you do any shows? Are you done with content?
I'm done. It's one show this week, apparently, because I'm old and I slept last night. But
there you go.
Next week, I don't know. I'll let Aaron take over because I do make a lot of appearances on his channel on Wednesday nights. Yeah. So I will pass the mic to him right now.
There you go. Yes, please, Aaron. Thank you so much for coming on. Appreciate it. I'm kind of glad, Lou, not for you because he overslept, but I'm glad that it gave you the chance to come on this show because I had a very good time. Tell the people where they can find you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It was a great time. Look forward to coming back on at some point. Lou will be back on the Wednesday show at 10 p.m. No worries there if his alarm clock is set. So Aaron the Dog MMA on YouTube, got almost 800 subscribers. So, working our way up here. So help me, get to a K here or not. It's all good no matter what. But I see a lot of these people in the chat, they follow Lou over. So appreciate Lou. But Lou, just my 2 cents on Lucky Locks. We're the new kind of 4 crew there on Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern. So breakdown full card MMA breakdowns every week.
Definitely. And I think I follow you on Twitter, but I don't know if I follow the YouTube. So I will go do that right after the show. And you all better do the same thing. That's going to do it, guys. As usual, we want all of you to enjoy the fight. So enjoy. And we will see you in the next one.